So welcome back to my channel. About a month ago I did a video called Why Do We Keep Buying Stuff We Don't Need? And in today's video I want to talk about how to stop buying stuff we don't need. I've been trying to notice these impulses within myself to buy things, trying different things, to stop buying things on impulse or to stop buying things to escape a feeling like we talked about in the last video. I will link that in the description. We are going to go through some practical tips, things that have been helping me, and I hope they can help you to stop buying stuff as well. Then we're also going to go through some emotional things to bear in mind and to work on. So practically, keep a note of when you are drawn to scroll on different apps or to look for something to buy. Because sometimes, for example, I will go on the Boots website. Every few months I am buying general like toothpaste and mouthwash, you know, stuff that I use every day. Sometimes just being on the Boots website, even when I'm buying that stuff that I know I need, I will start looking for other things and looking for other things to buy. Things that I don't need. It's the same thing as like you go to the supermarket for one thing, you end up buying like 10 things. It's like, I just came in here for yogurt, what happened? Make a note of the instances where you find yourself buying stuff that you don't need. And it's okay to make mistakes here. It's okay to like buy something and then feel weird about it, as long as you're building that awareness of, oh, I bought that because I was looking for this other thing, or because I was bored, or because it was like 11 at night and I should have just gone to sleep, right? So not only instances like I'm saying scrolling on Boots, but also specific times. For me, the specific time of day, it's never normally in the morning. It's always either immediately after work where I'm feeling quite emotionally drained and a bit bleh, and I'm looking for something, I guess like some quick dopamine from scrolling and buying something, or it will be like right before I'm going to bed where maybe I'm bored or I'm like procrastinating going to sleep because I'm like, no, I don't want to have to work tomorrow. Becoming aware of the times that you're most prone to scrolling, that is the first step. Once you have done that step, I would say then try to keep a wish list. So this is really handy to do on your phone. If you notice anything that you feel compelled to buy, just make a note of it. My phone went off. Make a note of it, come back to it after a day. And this might be difficult at first because you're like, I'm in the habit of like seeing something, buying it. Do like 20 minutes. And this might sound ridiculous. Say you're like really compelled to buy something. Be like, okay, I don't need to buy this immediately now. I can wait 20 minutes. Put a 20-minute timer on your phone, close all of your tabs and do something else. When the 20-minute timer goes off, you might have been completely absorbed in whatever other task and you'll be like, oh yeah, I was gonna buy that thing. Even a small window of time like that 20 minutes just to give yourself a buffer zone, it can help to put things into perspective a bit more and be like, wait, do I really need this thing? Have I just seen it and I'm like, oh, that would be cool, I must buy that. Then you can work up to being like, I will look at this wish list tomorrow or review at the end of the week. So then you will have a list of stuff and you'll look through it and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe some of the stuff that I was almost gonna buy, right? There is some stuff on here that I've seen that's like absolutely ridiculous. Like, why was I even considering buying this? But I'm so glad I made it a wish list of it because I can look at it now and be like, yikes. The one I'm thinking of was like a little mini Henry Hoover like plushie to clean your laptop screen. The reason I didn't buy it was because I was like, that is so niche. I'm very aware of anything that has a very niche purpose, and I'm glad I didn't buy that. And there was also, I mean, this is quite a cute idea. They were selling these little lockers. These are so cute, right? But I don't need it, you know? Maybe it would make a good gift for someone. I don't need that. And I nearly bought that, like it was in my shopping basket. Now you may look at your wish list and be like, actually I do still want to buy that thing. And that's fine, but at least you've given yourself time to think about it and you're not just like impulsively because you're trying to escape the feeling of dread or boredom from like working all day or trying to like imagine your life a different way and buy a new aesthetic, right? Like you're giving yourself space between those feelings of like impulsive need to take action and just like reflection and being like, okay, wait, practically, realistically, with the life that I have now, the money that I have now, is this practical for me? Is this useful? Is this something that I want to store? That little Henry Hoover thing, where am I putting that? Like, where is that living? If I can't be bothered to care for that, I shouldn't have it, right? I would also say practically unfollow people. Unfollow certain influencers, people who are always talking about products. These people are selling so much stuff like all the time and you may not be aware of it because you're just like, oh, they're doing a fun reel about their outfits, but then they're like affiliate linking every single product. These leggings, they'll like change your life. And it's like, yes, I get it, and clothes can impact the way that we feel, but not everything is that life-changing, right? So start unfollowing people because yeah, I can look in my wardrobe and be like, that was from when I watched a reel of someone talking about this, right? And I didn't think I was falling into this, but it's only when I started unfollowing people who are posting like this that I realized like, oh, a lot of these trends that I was buying into, it was because of stuff I'd seen people post about. I find as well, even thrifting accounts can be triggering because if they're talking about like finding a really specific piece. I could even do a video about my experience with thrifting because I actually found it was making me consume more, because the idea that these pieces are like one of a kind and if you don't buy it now, someone else will buy it and it might not be available, that was making me buy things more impulsively, because I was like, well, if this is a good deal now, I need to get it before someone else does. Unsubscribe to sales emails whenever you get one that comes into your inbox. So I do this on my Gmail. Press unsubscribe. It's right at the top of the email normally if I'm thinking about it in Gmail, so you don't even have to like scroll through the email and find it. You can literally just press unsubscribe. It's a small thing, but it does make a difference. Another practical thing you could do to stop buying things is to take inventory, or even do like a little clear out of your wardrobe or your dresser or your makeup, like whatever area you're finding yourself buy things. And it's sneaky because I find if I say to myself, I'm not buying any new clothes, all of a sudden I'm then like, oh, I need a blue eyeliner. And it's like, that's very niche. Why are we suddenly wanting to buy like very niche makeup? Like that's fun, but is this just because we said we're not buying any clothes anymore? If you just like open your wardrobe, have a look at everything in there and look at things that you're not wearing, like really try and view it with a fresh perspective, because we can be so used to opening our wardrobe and having a look, re-wearing the same things. It's very easy for all of the other stuff to blend into the background. Have a look and ask yourself why you're not wearing it. Be like, tomorrow I'm wearing this shirt because I've not worn it for I don't know how long. Because then you might wear the shirt and you're suddenly like, oh, I remember why I don't like this. Like I feel too hot. It looks weird with a jumper over the top of it, but it's too cold for me to just wear this shirt. I can't wear it in the winter. That's why I've not been wearing it recently. Or it's really itchy. Do you know? Like you'll suddenly start to notice things about it where you're like, oh, this is why I wasn't wearing it so much. It's all about like building awareness as to what you like, because as well, if you're then becoming aware of, I tend to buy lots of pens that I don't use, or I'm buying lots of makeup. When you next feel compelled to buy loads of pens, makeup, you can then hopefully pause and be like, stop, we've already done this. We've already bought this and it didn't work out. So instead of buying into the fantasy that you're creating of like, these pens, they will change my scrapbook, I just need to buy them, you'll be like, we already tried that. We have some of them and they didn't have the effect that they thought we were gonna have, and actually they were quite annoying, or they smudge, or they're like so expensive for what they are, right? It just gives you a new perspective. In terms of the clearing out stuff, if you're going through and you're like, I bought all these pens or these paints because I was gonna do some scrapbooking, but that was just a phase, that's okay. Like, it's not about beating yourself up or being like, why was I so silly, or why did I waste my money on this? That should be a consideration because this stuff is expensive and like, what could you have done with that money instead? But it's not about making yourself feel bad, because that can then prompt you to do more of the shopping. We're going to talk about the emotional stuff. But if something was a phase and you're like, oh, okay, I did my colouring book phase and I bought these colouring pencils, but I've not used them now for 6 months and realistically, I don't see myself doing this again. Be like, okay, thank you, colouring pens, right? This is what Marie Kondo talked about in her book. Like, thank the thing, be like, thank you for serving your purpose, and then send it on its way and give it to someone who will use it. So donate it, or be like, oh, my younger cousin or my niece or whoever, they will like these pencils, so I can give these to them. I also think it's helpful, another practical tip, is to make a list of reasons why you're happy to not be overspending, things you appreciate. So maybe you are happy you can save more money. Maybe you're appreciating the fact that you could just look around and be grateful for what you have, as opposed to constantly trying to find something new. And that brings us on to the emotional part of this video. Gratitude. Looking around and being grateful for what you have. I've mentioned gratitude lists before on my channel because they're such a life-changing thing. If you can just write a gratitude list every day, you will see over time that you build this sense of gratitude and appreciation for the little things. But otherwise, in terms of being grateful, start using things. Stop saving that fancy body cream or that fancy perfume. Stop saving it for only special occasions and just start using it every day, or like 5 days out of the week, right? And appreciate it. Use it, spend out. Gretchen Rubin talks about this in her book, The Happiness Project, or maybe it's Happier at Home. In one of her books, she talks about spending out. Don't save this stuff up, use it, because as well, if you leave perfume for however long, it goes bad. She mentions in the book, I think specifically a scented candle, that she left for too long and the oils had all separated and she couldn't use it. Yes, this thing might have been expensive or it might have been a gift, but ultimately, if it is a body wash, even if it's like a really fancy one, the purpose of it is to be used. Spend out, use this stuff, and through doing that, you can build gratitude and be like, yeah, I am really grateful for this thing. This is really nice. I appreciate having this in my life. We mentioned unfollowing people who are triggering. Emotionally, thinking about triggers has helped me to build some awareness within myself of my shopping habits, which is what we were talking about with all the practical tips earlier. But once you've done this, you can notice how specific your triggers can be, because it's not just like, oh, if I unfollow these accounts, I'll be fine. I can be triggered to go, on a shopping, like a hunt, like looking for a bargain. But let me give you the example. It was a thrifting influencer and she was in all her videos wearing this lovely necklace. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love her necklace. So I took screenshots of the video, zoomed in, took screenshots of the screenshot of this necklace. It was like a silver like choker. And I, within 10 minutes, had found this necklace and I was like, I must buy this. And it's just like, no. I don't need that. Maybe at some point in the future it would be nice, but like I don't need to buy that now. It was almost like the process of like looking for it and finding it, that was then making me feel like I had to buy it. So even small things like that, like small details, I know that the smallest thing can actually set me down a rabbit hole that could get quite bad. I found even actually watching some TV shows, like some of the outfits, for example, I watched the Mean Girls musical version yesterday. So many of the outfits, I was like, oh my gosh, I love those colors. One of the characters, Janice, was really colorful eye makeup. I was like, wow, that's so cool. I want to do that. Like there was just so many things where I was like, oh, I could buy something like that. I could buy something like that. And I had to keep telling myself like, just relax. You don't have to buy everything. This idea of just like appreciating something without having to buy it. Like, oh, that's nice that that thing exists, but I don't have to own it. I was really drawn to buying the Chapel Roan anniversary vinyl. At first I was like, I must buy this. Like this is the anniversary edition. This is like, look at the beautiful coral vinyl. But I just sat back and I was like, it's nice that that thing exists. It's nice that someone else can buy it and many people have bought it and it's, I'm sure, amazing. But I can listen to the album on my phone. I don't have to have the vinyl. I can just appreciate that this thing exists without being like, I must have the thing. And this doesn't work for everything, but certainly for some things, if you can start to apply this, I've certainly found that to be helpful in so many instances, just being like, oh my gosh, wow, that's cool, but practically I don't actually need that. You know, I find it easier to be all or nothing with things. So you might be like, oh, but I want to keep following this person because I like their house updates. You might be like, I still want to follow these people, and maybe that will work for you. You know yourself best. Maybe you can do moderation, but I certainly do not do well with that, and it's just better for me to unfollow everyone and then like build it back up. Another thing on the emotional side is to feel all your feelings. So I mentioned this in the previous video, why do we keep buying stuff we don't need? One of the things is to escape a feeling. It's much easier to find something and buy it and wait for it to arrive and be excited when you open it. It's much easier to go through that sequence of events because it's predictable, and it's also easier to scroll for a thing and buy it than it is to sit back and be like, I'm feeling really unfulfilled at my job, or I'm feeling quite lonely, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling confused, or I'm feeling like scared and living in uncertainty. These are all really big feelings, and it's a lot easier to try and deal with those things either through numbing them or like simplifying them down to just, I will buy a thing, this will bring me some temporary happiness, or like this, I can control this, I can control this aspect of my identity, or this is gonna bring me something that I'm missing, right? It's a lot easier to fall into that pattern of thinking than it is to sit with your uncomfortable feeling of being lonely, of being sad. So if you can build some tolerance to sit with your uncomfortable feelings as opposed to just scrolling, this is going to help you to stop buying so much stuff because you're able to sit with the feeling until it passes or until it diminishes a bit, and you can then make a decision, a more rational decision. Journaling is a really good way to do this. You could do free writing, so go on your laptop and just type everything you're feeling, or if you prefer writing by hand, that can also be a really reflective thing to do and help you connect to some feelings. Doing something like free writing or doing a gratitude list can be really helpful to get back in touch with your feelings and to maybe try and, as we talked about, being like a buffer between you and impulsively buying something. Let me know what has helped you to stop buying things you don't need. Please share your experience in the comments because we can all learn from it and we can help each other. I did do my video, why do we keep buying things we don't need? So I'll leave that on the screen if you'd like to check it out. God bless, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.